Everyone to come down today because we're calling on the state government. We're asking the Premier, we're asking the Attorney General to suspend sessional orders for Parliament this week in a bid to postpone Parliament for just 1 week so we can refocus on Townsville and the disaster that we're seeing here in North Queensland and North West Queensland. The problem that we see, as soon as we've called on this place and decided that it's no longer a disaster zone, the focus potentially could come off here during the recovery process. And you know, I'm not trying to take away from the importance of Parliament, and as legislators we have a very important job out there to do in the Parliament House, but I can tell you what, when you're down there, you need to focus 100% on what's going on in the House and what's happening in Parliament. And to think that out here right now we need 100% focus from government ministers to help make sure that government departments are delivering the services that they need right here in the recovery effort. We need to make sure that main roads are up and running. You need to make sure rail infrastructure is up and running. We need to make sure every school is opening as quickly as possible. And like I said, we need to make sure that the focus here is in Queensland right now, in North Queensland where the disaster has occurred. And I just cannot see how anybody could think that they could do 100% effort in Parliament right now while making sure 100% service delivery is happening out here in the field where people need this. Now, we understand this is asking a huge ask of the Attorney General to and the Leader of the House to make this call, but at the same time we think it's an important one to make. Also, if they're not willing to go down that track, we would ask the Attorney General and the Premier to ensure that any member of Parliament that can't make it down to Parliament this week because they're needed in their electorate, whether it's helping their constituents or even a minister that can't be in Parliament because they're better suited out there on this floor, they are not either ridiculed by Parliament or the media out there. And especially we would like to see the pairing arrangement occur, where if a member of Parliament, say from the government, can't make it down, whether a minister or a member of Parliament that's needed in their electorate, someone either on the crossbench or the opposition that would be otherwise voting against them when it comes to legislation going through the House actually sits out to even up the numbers out there with the yes and no votes. So we're asking for the Premier and the Attorney General to strongly consider this.
So there's only probably about 5 or 6 state members who are affected by this disaster out of however many there are in Parliament. Don't you think the better option for the good of the state, which you've got to have in focus as well, would just be to have you guys absent?
So the numbers that we're seeing out there, there's about 6 members of Parliament that have been affected by this large weather event, and this detrimental weather event to not only to North Queensland, but the livestock and the supply chain for all of Queensland. And to think that there might be ministers inside Parliament this week having to chew up their time with things like Dorothy Dixon's and gotcha moments during question time, when the Minister for Agriculture should be out there ensuring that these people are getting the help they need, and the recovery effort is being put in place by the people out there that need to be on the ground ensuring that this is happening. Like I said, it's very important that Parliament continues and when things are normal out there, but this is not a normal situation. And I think that the focus could come off this time. It could be horrendous out there for the humanitarian efforts that are going to be needed to ensure that we get back up and running. And to think that we've got multiple members of Parliament, but also ministers out there that may be required not to be in Parliament this week. So that number from 6 goes up pretty high if you start collating all those people.